Why The Last of Us is Falling Apart by The Critical Drinker. Honestly, I really enjoyed the first season. I thought it was really fucking good. The actress for Ellie isn't my favorite, but what can you do? But the one time fans actually wanted a TV show to deviate from source material, and they didn't, which is a little strange to me. They're just remaking the mistakes of the second game. Also, in accordance to that, they didn't even try to like build it to where it would make more sense narratively. Apparently they didn't even do that. So this should be good, or at least that's what I heard. I'm actually not sure if that part's even out yet. I really hope they change up how they did it, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Either way, let's see what the Critical Drinker has for us.
Another episode of The Last of Us to get through.
Oh my god!
God, to get through? Is it that bad? Is season 2 really that bad?
And I say it that way because that's exactly what this show is starting to feel.
Okay, so I guess they haven't gotten to that part yet. It looks like Joel's still alive. Huh. Okay.
Like for me, homework. Some mildly unpleasant tasks to be completed as quickly as possible, instead of a rollicking good piece of entertainment that I can't wait to experience week after week. And apparently, I'm not the only one to feel this way, as the show's lost almost 20%.
Oh no, so they did fucking kill him off. Yeah, imagine that. You lost most of your fucking viewers on a decision gamers didn't like when the game came out. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. Joel is the favorite character, and you're deciding to kill him off.
Its audience by episode 3, and its Rotten Tomatoes score is plummeted
by
to
3?
just 49%.
I didn't even realize it was episode
marking
3.
it as rotten for the first time. Golly gee whiz, I wonder what could have possibly caused this.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Oh, no.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
The thing is, almost everyone knew this was coming. Everyone who played the games knew that killing off Joel was going to put the show into a death spiral that it would...
Yeah, everyone called it. That's why they... Ooh, bad place to pause it. Everyone knew that if you killed Joel, you were going to fuck over the show's ratings. Which is why I'm actually kind of surprised they decided not to change it. Like, really surprised. I don't know, maybe they weren't allowed to or something, but damn. Did they really shoot themselves in the foot with the game and now the show?
Struggle to pull out of, as the narrative devolved into a grimly sadistic misery simulator where every major character dies or ends up broken and alone. Everyone who watched season 1 could have told you that Bella Ramsey's Ellie wasn't going to be able to carry a show like this without Pedro Pascal there to support her. Everyone knew this was...
Honestly, that is true. Pedro definitely fucking carried the show. He was the whole point, like the big reason why the show did as well.
Coming,
and it really sucks that it's
apparently. You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. And if that's the case, then I think Neil Druckmann needs an intervention pronto because...
In technical terminology, he's a loon.
But from a writing point of view, I think it's actually worth explaining why killing off Joel was such a massive mistake, both in the games and in the show, because this ties into a much bigger issue about character relationships and the importance of having balance and contrast in your
Like, I've already seen essays on why it wouldn't really make sense, so I'm excited to see.
And the reality
I love
here
these kinds
is
of
that
shit.
without Joel, The Last of Us has no emotional heart anymore. See, the first game, and to some extent the first season of The Last of Us, both successfully tapped into one of the most compelling and universal character dynamics in all of fiction. The bond between a father and his daughter. Yeah, it was definitely an unconventional version of that relationship. Ellie wasn't really Joel's daughter, and they didn't even meet each other until she was an adolescent, but the all-important dynamic was still the same. Joel was the experienced protector and father figure, and Ellie was the young and vulnerable daughter that he had to guide, protect, and watch over. He was jaded, cynical, and pragmatic, hardened by a lifetime of tough choices and brutal survival, while she was idealistic and maybe a touch naive, eager to see the the world without knowing much about how dangerous it could really be out there. Obviously, she was no match for him physically because he was a grown man and she was a little girl, and if anything, she's actually a burden on him at first. She doesn't know much about hunting or survival, she makes a lot of mistakes that almost get them both killed, and despite all her bullshit and bravado, she's actually pretty scared and intimidated by the world around her.
A great summation of the beginning Ellie. Like, weirdly enough, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember a whole lot of The Last of Us 1, like my original thoughts on it. But I found Ellie I want to say I found her kind of annoying and all that. But I don't know why. I definitely found her a whole lot more annoying in the live action show than the game. What else? Also, another thing with the actress they chose, she didn't look young enough in the first season to have then grown up even more for the second season, for like the second game. Like, Ellie very obviously grew up a bit. I don't really get that from the actress.
It made for a great contrast, allowing them to spark off each other, provoke and challenge each other, and grow and develop in interesting ways. Because of Joel, Ellie gradually learns how to look after herself, how to survive in a harsh and unforgiving world, to the point where she even has to step up and become a protector for him when he's badly wounded. And because of Ellie, Joel's demeanour slowly softens as he warms to her and starts to see her as more than just a package that has to be delivered to a destination. He begins to see her as someone he genuinely
we love
cares
Joel's
about,
fucking carry. We love both of their fucking arcs.
Joel brings out Ellie's inner strength, while Ellie brings out Joel's humanity. In a neat piece of narrative give and take, they each fill gaps in the other's life. The show mostly managed to replicate this dynamic in Season 1, despite its best efforts. And the reason I say that is that you can tell they did everything in their power to toughen Ellie up and break Joel down, bending the dynamic as far as they could possibly go without breaking it. The Ellie in the show was much more confident, assertive and capable right from the start, easily taking control of conversations and disagreements, rarely showing any fear of Joel or the world around them.
That's probably why I disliked her more. On a subconscious level, it's just like, this isn't the Ellie I know. That's probably what it was, because I rewatched playthrough of the game before I watched the show originally. And yeah, I think that's what really a big part of it for me was the fact that she just did not seem like the Ellie from the games.
Frequently disobeying his instructions and mouthing off at him as if a 50-year-old man with a gun that she barely knows is the kind of guy you'd want to risk pissing off. TV Joel, on the other hand, is much less decisive, capable and stoic than his game counterpart, even at the beginning of their journey together. He suffers from panic attacks, he's starting to struggle physically and often seems to be at a loss for what to do next. He frequently gets flustered and outmaneuvered in conversations with Ellie, and he even defers to her when it comes to making decisions, as if a 12-year-old girl who's never been outside the walls of her hometown is the kind of person you should listen to in a life or death situation.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
I didn't think about
the subtext here is that TV show Ellie has a lot less to learn from Joel than her game counterpart, that she needs him less. There's less of a contrast between them, so the father-daughter dynamic is weakened considerably. It's not destroyed completely, but it's far inferior to the game, and that's not...
That is something I got from that. Now, thinking back on it on the actual show, I didn't really see the father-daughter relationship. Like, it was vaguely there, but I did not see it like I did in the games. The games outdid themselves for that shit. And I don't really see that between them.
Even taking into account all the shameless political pandering the show indulges in.
Communism.
Nah, it ain't like that.
It is that, literally. This is a commune. We're communists.
Gross.
This place actually fucking works.
You see, kids, if everyone just pulls together and does their part, communism really can work for all of us. To find out more about how you can get involved, contact your local political commissar now. Still, it was enough to keep audiences happy with Season 1 of the show. That, however, is gone now. Joel's dead, and instead Ellie is left with Dina to play off of. And well, that's a whole different dynamic that's considerably less interesting. Why? because there's no contrast between these two characters. They're about the same age, the same gender, and roughly the same level of experience and competence. Even their personalities are broadly similar. Yeah, Ellie's a bit more serious and focused, and Dina's a bit more outgoing and playful, but there's really not that much of a difference between them. Joel and Ellie's relationship wasn't just a broken man and a frightened girl trying to find a way to connect with each other, it was a clash of different generations and worldviews. Joel, who still remembered the old world before the collapse, and Ellie, who was born into the new world but still has to experience it. Joel's maturity and experience versus Ellie's youthful passion and curiosity. Ellie and Dina don't have any of that because they're so similar, it's more like watching a person talking to themselves. Their scenes come across as
That doesn't
flat,
sound
dull,
fun.
and tedious, and not just because the actors don't have much chemistry together. Neither of them has anything particularly interesting.
That doesn't sound like a fun, like a fun show to watch. Like at all. It doesn't sound fun to watch. I'll probably give it a watch at some point, just to get my own view on it, but I'm not holding out hope for it whatsoever.
Insightful to say. They don't offer contrasting opinions drawn from different life experiences. They don't even have different physical capabilities that might offer some kind of contrast in how they approach situations. They're just two asshole teenagers meandering through the world, swapping shitty jokes and speculating about stuff that they don't really understand. And how can I put this? Teenagers aren't exactly the most interesting people you'll ever meet, and for obvious reasons. They haven't seen and done enough to mold them into interesting people yet. They're more like houses that have just been moved into. Yeah, the potential is there, but there's none of the interesting decoration or personality that builds up over time. In fact, when you think about it, the three main characters in this show now are all pretty similar. They're the same gender, roughly the same age range, the same size and build, and the same level of experience. Again, there's no real contrast between them, and so there's less to get interested and invested in.
Oh,
it also
God.
means that this show is badly missing gravitas. Like it or not, there's a certain kind of authority and charisma and command that only older men possess. Young guys don't have it and women don't have it, and when you erase it from a narrative, you'll lose that sense of believability and gravity that a show like the
I'll even like disagree with them on this. An older woman who like has been through shit can pull the same shit. They can definitely pull the same shit. It's just, if it's just teenagers or young people, I do not get that whatsoever, unless that is a very good actor and their character has been through enough to push that. Which, from what I've seen, none of these characters
The Last
are.
of Us is desperately striving for. It doesn't have it now, and you won't find it with characters like Ellie, Abby, and Dina. All of this
When did she get a slit in her eyebrow? I don't remember that.
is my long-winded way of saying that killing off Joel was a huge mistake in the games, and it's likely to be just as damaging to the TV show. Not only was it a shitty way to kill off such a popular character, but his death leaves behind a narrative hole that nobody else is capable of filling. They really did try the same thing as before, and surprise surprise, they got the same fucking result. And they really have no one to blame but themselves. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, he's not happy. I don't fucking blame him for not being happy. I remember I was pissed when Joel originally died. Didn't make sense then, it didn't make sense now. Like, why kill off the character people love the most? I really just don't get it. That actually kind of makes me... Yeah, exactly. Just because it's a different medium doesn't mean that people are gonna be fucking happy with it. I'm so glad people were upset. Even people who never played the game and just only know it for the show, I'm super glad that even those people were upset by this decision. Make sure you check out the original video. Give him his love. It'll be linked down below. And like and subscribe. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.